So let's go over the very important stimulus check news that I want you to know. So progressive lawmakers are now calling on Nancy Pelosi and even Chuck Schumer to act on the eviction moratoriums. And many Americans are urging that Congress, our politicians in Congress that is, include a fourth stimulus check into the new budget plan that President Biden must approve. Folks, I want to see our politicians, the Democrats and the Republicans, work together to help out the American people that are in need of financial assistance. Do you guys agree? Leave your thoughts in the comments below.
From day one, Republicans opposed adding a supplement to normal unemployment.
People are being paid to stay home.
Because of the unemployment benefits, because of the child tax credits.
There's some concern that Democrats are going to try to push to make some of these things permanent.
I think this is bound to concern people.
So the lawmakers wrote in a letter, as your fellow colleagues, we implore you to act with the highest levels of urgency to advance a permanent legislative solution in a must-pass legislative vehicle in order to extend the life-saving federal eviction moratorium for the duration of the crisis. The letter was led by Democratic Representatives Ayanna Pressley and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Millions of good paid union jobs, rebuilding this country not only from a physical infrastructure, but dealing with the human needs of our people.
More than 60 lawmakers have signed onto the letter. In an 8-page ruling, the Supreme Court determined that Congress must extend the federal eviction moratorium unilaterally. Also, everybody, this move means that hundreds of thousands of tenants are set to lose their homes because they're unable to pay rent. Everybody, if the eviction moratorium is not going to be extended, many people are going to suffer, and we might see more people becoming homeless. Do you guys agree with me? Leave your thoughts in the comments below.
Which has not been raised by Congress since 2007, and it stands today at $7.25 an hour. And I think what shocks our Republican colleagues is that we wrote a bill to address the crises facing working families and the middle class and low-income people.
Now, amid public outcry, everybody, House Democratic leadership was looking to possibly take legislative action before its summer recess. But these efforts did not take place. Instead, the CDC ended up passing another extension in early August due to the public outcry and protest. Now, in a statement, Nancy Pelosi did indicate that the House will return from its recess to pass legislation. She called on state and local governments to disperse rental assistance immediately. Only about $5.1 billion of the $46.5 billion in stimulus aid had been dispersed by the end of July. And Pelosi even said earlier this month that President Biden is to thank for his leadership and congressional Democrats. Their imminent fear of eviction and being put on the street was lifted for countless Americans across the country. So folks, Speaker Pelosi does want to extend the CDC eviction moratorium. Also made a statement on this. She stated that the Biden administration is disappointed that the Supreme Court has blocked the most recent CDC eviction moratorium. President Biden supported extension efforts in Congress, but also called for action at state level. Everybody, millions of Americans also receiving monthly cash payments for the enhanced child tax credit. With the next check going out September 15th and under the American Rescue Plan, any dependent who counts as a qualifying dependent this year could be eligible for the third check of up to $1,400. Let's not forget California residents will see another round of Golden State stimulus for as much as $600 as early as next week. There are also thank you payments of $1,000 going to teachers and school staff in some states across the country. What do you guys think about this, everybody? Is it right for Congress to extend the unemployment benefits and extend the eviction moratorium? Tell me what you think in the comments below.
Making sure that our families during this power outage and flooding is getting resources. It's been really, really difficult and so hard. So I just can't thank enough my team. In the middle of all this, Bernie's like, I want to come to Detroit. I said, okay, everyone, we got to make this happen. So I just can't thank you all enough for doing such great work. So Bernie, welcome. Welcome to the community that raised me. Why today is so important is it's very rare to get someone that is in such an incredibly important position in Congress. I mean, the chair of the Senate Budget Committee is not wanting to just have hearings in Washington, D.C., but he wants to come here and listen to you all, hear your questions, help you understand what is happening in Washington, D.C. and Congress, especially with reconciliation, this word that somehow I didn't even know anything about until I started saying, well, wait, that's a pathway to making sure my folks have resources they need to getting clean drinking water in the schools? Then yes, I want to know more. And so it's so unbelievably important that Senator Sanders is coming here, and I know he's been in Indiana, and I believe he's going to Ohio and Iowa and all kinds of places. And so he's coming here because he wants to make sure that you understand what's happening in Congress and how it impacts your life. So you all know I've been on the front lines and working on this issue around poverty in our community that is so interconnected with what's happening regarding climate, regarding so much that's happening for our families. You all know I told this story before, but it's so important to know this. One of my parents came up to me in one of our neighborhood service centers. You know, she was in tears. This was some years ago, Senator. And she was in tears, and she was telling me that she needed a new place to send her kids for this pre-K like program, like an early childhood program. And I said, it's okay, I'm gonna find you a place, don't worry. And she's like, but you don't understand, Rashida. I need a place that can feed my child twice a day. See, people need to understand that people's infrastructure, what it means when we talk about it, what the care economy, all that means, how it means to our lives, what it means to our lives, that we gotta think beyond just roads and bridges. Yes, they're important, but we gotta talk about the processes and structures that support our families. You know, when I went through Cass Tech just sometime years ago, yes, and Senator Sanders met the youth there, he couldn't believe this, that we have a brand new built school and no clean drinking water out of the fountain. So when I think about the reconciliation process of people's infrastructure, I think about complete replacement of lead contaminated pipelines. It's so important to our district, but no child should ever have no access to clean drinking water. And we also have to go deeper in that understanding that clean water and clean air is so interconnected to racial justice. You all know this. Wayne County hasn't met Clean Air Act standards in over 15 years, y'all. I mean, sulfur dioxide, the ozone, all of it. We haven't in 15 years. And Debbie knows this because she and I talk about this all the time. About time that we demand infrastructure that supports us getting access to clean air, and that means addressing our climate. And so it is so important, again, you all, many of you come from nonprofit organizations. You're on the ground talking to Black Club leaders. You know how it's done. And when Maxine Waters says housing is infrastructure, you need to explain to people what she means. Because you can't just talk about infrastructure and roads and outside homes. You got to talk about safe, healthy living homes, access to housing. All of that to say, this is why Senator Sanders is here. He needs our help. He needs our partnership to getting the word out to the American people, to all of our neighbors. And understanding reconciliation may be like a foreign object, but guess what? It is the pathway to the people's infrastructure.